If you want to use a contrary team but can't quite find a safe way to set it up, here's one for you. This involves an Among Us and a Spinda. This is going to be a fun set. It looks like a mono poison team from the opponent at first. I pull off the Rage Powder. This is really important because Crobat, I suspected the taunt. Spinda is safe from the taunt. Here comes the knockoff, and what I don't understand is the focus sash activates off of knockoff, but not the eject button, and I don't think the red card either. That's just a little unfair. But Spinda successfully gets off the Trick Room, but that full strat is one turn behind because of the eject button not getting off. In comes sagigigeR. It has the slow start ability, normally really bad. Crobat gets switched out, does not like being in Trick Room. Slowbro, it does. And Spinda, of course, it has the skill swap. Contrary is now on the sagigigeR, and slow starts on the Spinda. But this Spinda does not have any speed investment, nor does it have a physical attack. Not to mention, because this is Trick Room, Spinda just got doubled speed from this. That is a Mega Slowbro from the opponent. Physically tanky, yes. Specially tanky, decent to great. Spinda, it has the fake tears as well. That sharply raises sagigige's special defense. Slowbro, it has the iron defense. That's really good. And then Drapion has the acupressure, decides to use it on itself. A really gambly move. It got special defense, which I'm not really going to take advantage of. And sagigige's, it has the superpower. That's a bulk up for me, thanks to Contrary. But Drapion, it does have tankiness, and it has a black sludge. Looks like it's trying to keep itself healthy before using acupressure on allies. If Drapion got a self-healing move like Leech Life or Rest, this set would be even better, but he didn't use either of them. Knock off again onto sagigige's. I can't use my Citrus Berry. And I get off another superpower. I now have 2 bulk ups and 2 amnesias, effectively. This is the last turn of Trick Room, so I decided to skill swap the Drapion. If he does go for an offensive move, maybe with a crit chance, he will now have halved attack. That's really helpful for me. Slowbro has the Scald, aimed it at the Spinda rather than the physically offensive sagigige's. Drapion has acupressure again. It rose attack this time, which counteracted the slow start. I go for the superpower again and raise my attack and defense. Trick Room's over. Drapion is really slow. Spinda, it lost the slow start, so it should be at higher protection. Drapion, it had to protect. I kind of saw that coming with the black sludge. So I decided to Thunderbolt the Slowbro. To my surprise, the Slowbro was actually faster than the Spinda. I forgot the bases or if he had any speed investment. But I decided to pull off my last fake tears onto sagigige's to raise its special defense to max. sagigige's, it saw the protect. It knows that this is a safe bet. Drapion was lowered into the red, and I have Icy Wind. Now that special defense buff from acupressure is going to show. If you didn't have it, it might have been a KO. But now the speed on both of them fell even further. Drapion uses the knockoff again onto sagigige's. Slowbro, it has the Scald onto Spinda. That's enough to KO. And the good thing about using Among Us for this set... Oh wait, I don't switch into Among Us yet. It's Togetic. I had 4 move slot syndrome severely on the Togetic. I really should have given it Psych Up if it learned it. I go for the Defog. Evasion rises on the sagigige's, and I believe it would lift any Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rock, etc. on the field. Upon review of this team, if you want to copy it, evolve Togetic into Togekiss. Trick Room will likely be over when it comes back in, so it'll get some a little extra speed for outside of Trick Room, especially alongside these Thunderbolts and Icy Winds from Spinda. You'll get the defog, you'll get the psych up. You can use an air slash to paralyze and potentially flinch the opponents. It would be really helpful. I might try this out later. And it knocked off the Eviolite to make it easier to KO. And back in comes the Amoonguss. It may have taken a big hit earlier, but Regenerator helped it recover back up. Regenerator, eject button, rage powder. That is a follow me that can heal itself. Unfortunately, Amoonguss uses growth. Unfortunately, using rage powder means that fake out can out prioritize you. So if they fake out the Spinda and then attack into the Amoonguss slot due to rage powder, eject button will activate, but I will not get my trick room off. Crobat comes back in again. Crobat, it has the Brave Bird. I feared that I was aiming for the Amoonguss, because if he focuses the Amoonguss, then he can take out Regigigas 2-on-1. Regigigas, I decided to Thunder Wave it. I was half expecting a taunt onto the Amoonguss, so that seemed like a safe bet. I get off another growth. Sorry. And Slowbro uses Scald onto Regigigas and misses. That's what happened when you use 2 defogs. You have a 3/5 chance of hitting. I use Knockoff onto the Crobat and knock off the Life Orb. A 3rd growth from the Amoonguss. This Amoonguss, it's tanky and it's getting offensive as well. Slowbro, it goes for the Slack Off. It is now at full health. This is a Mega at full health whose ability, I think, prevents crits. In comes the Butterfree. Let's end with Gen 1. And Sleep Powder misses the Regigigas. That's 3/5 and 3/4 of a chance further. Knockoff does not activate the Focus Sash. I mean, it does activate the Focus Sash, but does not activate eject button. Where's the fairness? Giga Drain, stab on the Amoonguss, +3 offenses. Slowbro's a one-shot. Mega Slowbro's a one-shot. 1 HP left on the Butterfree. It knows it's over. Up next, I don't know if I should pronounce it Daily or Dolly. This team has another problem with this setup. When you use Follow Me, all attacks are aimed toward the user, but with Rage Powder, Pokemon with Overcoat, an item with the same effect, and grass types are not affected by it. Luckily, this was not an Eruption Typhlosion. It used Inferno instead. Activates the eject button after getting the burn. Just in case he comes back in, remember this. The Amoonguss was at half health. Regigigas is switched in, and Hydro Vortex is aimed at the Spinda. Spinda has the Focus Sash, didn't need it anyway, and activates the Trick Room. You should expect what's coming by now. Skill Swap, Superpower, now just to choose my target. Just in case it was an Eruption Typhlosion, I decided to aim for it. Not quite enough to KO from full, but it will definitely be gone next turn. Hydro Pump onto Spinda again. It's over. Another problem with using the Togekiss was that Spinda could go out down quickly like that, so I needed another fake Tears user. And Clefairy not only has the Eviolite and the Psych Up, but it can fake Tears as well. Unfortunately, its special attack isn't very high, so I had to use the Stored Power. Stored Power. It could become a high base power off of this, which could help him with the special attack problem. Typhlosion. It goes down to another superpower, so that's 2 bulk ups and 1 amnesia on the Regigigas. In comes the Mawile. Lucky for him, he didn't have Intimidate on it. That would have been a +3 to my attack. I saw what was going to come. He was going to use Iron Head or another steel attack onto Clefairy. I needed to stop that, so I used Psych Up. That's a huge powered Mawile with Iron Head. It's going to hurt, but not as much as it could otherwise. Clefairy gets double focus with the Hydro Pump. Not even 3/4 HP. a third superpower. That's a one-shot onto Mega Mawile. If you want to copy this, you can use the Regigigas. Any Pokemon that has superpower, close combat, those can work. I've been trying to trade for a V-Create Rayquaza, but I haven't quite got it yet. Clefairy, I believe it used Fake Tears into Regigigas again. Knock off onto Sigilyph. That was a one-shot. I think it shows which item it would drop if it was holding one. But it wasn't, so either that was a Z move or it had no item to begin with. Twisted Dimensions return to normal, and I finish it off with a Drain Punch. I'm now at practically at full health. Ludo goes down, and I get the win. Up next is Parker. He's leading off with that famous Petros, or Rock-type Tyranitar. I lead with Amoonguss and Spinda again. Hitmontop, it likes the fake out, and if Amoonguss would be one shot, the Sandstream will definitely finish it after Trick Room goes in. I will have no contrary. This will be a problem with Regigigas. Hitmontop has the fake out, fakes out onto Amoonguss. I get the eject button. I'm close enough to full that I will be full when I come back in. In comes Incineroar this time. This is an Assault Vest Incineroar. It has the Intimidate, Tyranitar, and the Hitmontop. They're losing attack. Rock Slide, it hits both of my allies. And Incineroar's taking more damage than I would have hoped. I really should have made it split defenses rather than full special, if I remember correctly. But Spinda is at full HP. Lucky for me. I get off my skill swap. Now I had a choice for this next turn. I could have skill swapped with the Hitmontop. Spinda would keep Intimidate, but it would activate again. Hitmontop's Intimidate would activate again. It would raise Incineroar to a +2 rather than this +1. Tyranitar, it barely survived the superpower, and Tyranitar had the Z move, the Black Hole Eclipse. I'm pretty sure this is Z Crunch. It was aimed onto Spinda and left me really healthy. Here was the problem with me skill swapping the Spinda. I was at so low HP, I was afraid Tyranitar might have something for the Incineroar. Especially with this sandstorm setting in, I needed to heal. I looked over his team composition and realized that's going to be an eject button Hitmontop. I need to switch it out. Tyranitar, it will go down to an Icy Wind, and most likely he would have the Cresselia in his back row. If he saw superpower, he would expect it again. So I used the Leech Life instead. Haha. Super effective. +1 attack. I'll take extra healing. It wasn't much though, but I take what I can get. Spinda, it'll go down in 3 turns of Sandstorm, unless of course the opponent takes it out first. In comes the Kangaskhan. I knew what to expect from this. Mega Fake Out, maybe with a helping hand from Cresselia. But if there's one thing you want to do to shut down a Kangaskhan, it's use skill swap onto it. That's a fake out onto the Incineroar. I called it. I skill swapped into the Kangaskhan. It loses Parental Bond. It gets Intimidate. You can't do anything with that Kangaskhan now. Now, he had 2 hard choices to make. If he kept in Kangaskhan, it would be less effective than it should be. If you switch it out, Hitmontop comes back in and raises Incineroar's attack again with its own Intimidate. Kangaskhan, it has a hard choice. Cresselia, it has a hard choice. Cresselia likely will want to avoid allowing me to have a Leech Life, but instead he switched it in anyway. Spinda went down to a Psyshock, and Clefairy comes in. This is a full physical opponent. I do not need the fake tears, so I use Psych Up. Incineroar has the leech life. It's now at +3. More than enough to one-shot the Cresselia, which would have been a bad move upon review. I should have leech-lifed the or superpowered onto the Hitmontop. Problem is now Mega Kangaskhan comes back in. The Hitmontop is in. He can double fake out, and then whatever he wants to do when Trick Room ends, his Kangaskhan goes first and would finish off the Incineroar. The Fairy flinches, Incineroar flinches. Kangaskhan has the low kick. That's dark coverage and is enough to knock out Incineroar with the Parental Bond. Now, if I remember correctly, stored power on the Clefairy is now twice as powerful as the Psychic, and apparently Hitmontop wanted to double tap the Incineroar just in case, and it used close combat. And I used Fake Tears onto the Kangaskhan. I knew Incineroar was going down. There's nothing I can do to stop it. Amoonguss comes back in at full health. Hitmontop starts spamming the feint. Kangaskhan has the double edge. That is scary. But Clefairy, it has the +2 defenses. Or maybe just +1 instead of the Amoonguss. And Amoonguss has the Spore. Kangaskhan's down for at least one turn. And I use stored power onto the Hitmontop. Not much damage at all. Clefairy, it's supportive, it's not really offensive. Hitmontop uses the feint again, this time onto Amoonguss. The Kangaskhan is still asleep, has to be for at least his turn. Amoonguss goes for the growth. I didn't know how tanky the Kangaskhan would be. It's already at -2 special defense, but I wanted to try to one-shot it if I could. Hitmontop goes down to a second. Stored power from the Clefairy. Time for the finish. So if you want to copy this, put eject button onto a follow me, preferably with regenerator. Put a Trick Room, Spinda with skill swap next to it. You can support it with Fake Tears, you can support it with Murkrow, whatever you want to do. Well, that Giga Drain was almost enough to one-shot Kangaskhan, and he forfeits.